Okay, so the first thing I've done is to make sure the patient is square on the table, because we don't want it to be rotated and change the line. Now, this dog does have a hernia, but we're going to kind of ignore that for a moment. We're going to make the incision here just caudal to the umbilicus. Now, once I make that incision, I want to spread this subcutaneous fat and use this forceps to find the midline. And right here already I see the midline. So I'm going to, again, spread the forceps. I hope you can see that midline right there. It's a beautiful white midline. I'm going to nick the midline. Now I'm going to put my forceps in there through the perineum and open the midline. So now we're in the abdomen, and I'm going to leave this forceps here to lift the abdomen and go in and get the ovary. I need to put this omentum out of the way. I'm going to go along the body wall, across the body wall, and lift up. And right there's the uterus. Okay, so the key thing here is tug the uterus caudally and put the ovarian ligament under your middle finger. And this one shows it very nicely. I've got the middle finger showing me the ovarian ligament. I'm going to hold at the uteroovarian ligament here. I'm going to hold that with my thumb and index finger while I take a cryo forceps and break the ligament. Push toward the kidney. Now this one doesn't want to break, so I'm going to now take my scissor and snip it. Okay, then I'm going to check for more ligament. There's a little bit more that broke easily. Now I'm going to take this same forceps and make a window. And by that window, you want to just move up and down and open up a window there. Put that forceps on. Put another straight forceps, because this is a Carmalt. And then any extra forceps you have on this, was this a suspensory ligament? This is
the suspensory ligament.
Yeah, suspensory ligament.
Oh, the proper, because the suspensory is the
proper
one you
ligament. That's proper ligament.
Proper.
We broke the suspensory.
Yep.
Okay, now for your exam, you have to be able to tie before you cut this off. And I'm going to take this suture. I'm going to use the tail of this suture to make my tie. I'm going to pass it through the window. I'm going to take it and pass it through the window a second time. I'm hoping that it'll be on clamp number 1, and it is. And at this point I need a little bit of a loop here. And I'm going to make my modified Miller's knot over clamp number 1. You can see it there on clamp number 1. I'm going to release clamp number 1. And then I'm going to secure that Miller's knot in the crush. Tie a second throw, third throw. Now you see I've got enough tail to pass through the window again. Now I want a surgeon's knot right here in the crush one more time. So now I've got a double ligature. At least 2 more knots on top of that surgeon's knot. Now here's another tip, is clip your tail of your suture so you're ready for the next ligation. Okay, now we're ready to cut the ovary away, and we're going to cut between clamp number 2. Let me get that off of the skin. Cut between clamp number 2 and the ovary. Now while I have this in my hand, my left hand, I want to spread out this mesometrium and find the uterine artery, identify the uterine artery, and then transect all of the mesometrium cranial to the uterine artery. And at this point you can show the pedicle to your examiner, and that's good. So now we're going to go get the right side. So I'm going to pull the uterus caudally, and that brings up the right side. I'm going to pull the uterus caudally, and the same thing again. I'm going to feel that very ligament, suspensory ligament, right? Yeah, suspensory ligament. And I'm stretching it tight over my middle finger. I hope you can see it right there. It's a white ligament stretched tight over my middle finger. It doesn't want to break, so I'm going to put a forceps on it and see if I can break it. Oh, good, it broke that time. Now I'm going to check for more ligament. There's another band, a small band right there. Break it. Check for more ligament. There's a little bit, and it's stretched there, and it broke. So now right away I'm going to take this same instrument and make a window, up and down. Clamp number 1, clamp number 2, clamp number 3 on the proper ligament. Now, again, you would have to tie through the window, wrap around, through the loop, catch the tail. Now, I'm going to drop this in the crush. Good, fell right in the crush, secures that modified Miller's knot. Pass the tail through the window again. Surgeon's knot. Make sure it settles in the cross. Nice and tight. So now we have a double ligature on that pedicle. Now we're going to tag the tail of the suture. Cut between number 2 and the ovary. Spread, while you got it in your hand, spread out that mesometrium, find the uterine artery, transect everything cranial to it. And here we can inspect the pedicle, and it looks fine. Okay, now we're ready for the uterine body. So what I'm going to do is crush this uterine body just distal to the cervix. I'm going to take the tail and go diagonal. Now I like to put this diagonal across my forceps. And you'll see why here when we tie this. Now we're going to go. There it is. Drop it right in the crush. Secure that really tight. 2 throws on top of that. Pass the tail under again. Now we got surgeon's knot here. Need to pull it out of the abdomen a little bit. That surgeon's knot is very tight. We'll cut these short. Okay, and I like to clamp distal to my ligature, and then I'm going to hold this with a forceps, and then I'd like to use my blades to cut here. You can inspect the stump there, it's not bleeding. Let the stump go. Okay, now we're ready to close this abdomen. I'm going to pull pull the subcutaneous fat back and look for the linea. I see it right there, so I'm going to lift it with my needle. See, I've got the linea right there. I'm going to grab it with my thumb forceps. Now I've got the linea in my thumb forceps. I want to find the caudal apex of that linea. I want a big strong bite of linea. Now I'm going to pull the subcutaneous fat back and look for the linea on the right side. So we got the right side.
Sorry, I didn't expect you. This other one.
Now just kiss this together. Don't crush it.
I got the rest, thank you.
Don't crush it. Just kiss it. Okay, and I like to tag this tail so it stays out of my way.
Damn, really? It feels like 100.
Yeah.
Pull the subcutaneous fat back. Look for the linea. If you have to, just use your needle as a lift. Get the linea. Take a bite. Take a bite of the right side. You got linea. Now here, you want to, let's see, I pull that needle through with thumb forceps and then I grab it and I'm ready for the next bite. Pull the fat back, there's linea. Pull the fat back, there's linea. Grab it with the thumb forceps, grab it with the needle driver and you're ready for the next bite. Linea. Linea. Thumb forceps. Needle driver, linea, thumb forceps, needle driver, linea, about 5 to 6 millimeters apart on this 50-pound dog. And just keep working cranially until we get to the cranial apex.
Oh, okay. I just turned it down.
Now we're at the cranial apex, the last bite. Okay, so now we're going to tie on a loop here. We'll leave a loop. Kiss it together. Tie on a loop. Now when you tie this, you got to open up that thumb forceps. Open up the needle driver so that the sides of that loop can equalize. And you want to make sure it goes perfectly square. Again, pull the loop through, make sure it's square. Good. And now I want to cut one side of the loop short, and I'm going to tag it with an instrument here to keep it out of the way. Okay, now we're going to go for a layer called a hypodermis. I learned this from Dr. Dan Smeek at Colorado State. And the first bite of the hypodermis goes from the midline to the right lateral. And then the next bite will go from left to right. Now notice how those thin little bites are pulling the subcutaneous fat together. The hypodermis is pulling the subcutaneous fat. This layer just below the dermis, it's a thin layer. If you do just hypodermis, you'll have less post-op swelling because you don't have all that fat being crushed and becoming avascular. Saves you a lot of post-op swelling. Okay, so now we got this tail that we're going to use. We tie on this tail. You want to make sure these are secure. Okay, there's 4 knots there. We'll cut this short. Now the first bite of the subcuticular or intradermal, whatever you want to call it, first bite goes from cranial to caudal and it comes out at the apex right there. This begins the subcuticular. It serves as an anchor for the subcuticular. Okay, so now to start the subcuticular, just evert the skin. So you just evert it. Take a short bite for the first one. And these bites of subcuticular, they have to enter at the dermis, they travel laterally into the subcutaneous, and then they exit at the dermis as well. right there. Again, the subcuticular, invert the skin. See, look how beautiful exposure. You want to travel laterally into the subcutaneous fat, exit at the dermis. Evert, enter, subcuticular, travel laterally, exit at the dermis. Evert, enter subcuticular, exit subcuticular. Evert, enter, exit. Okay, now this last one, sometimes you gotta do this little trick. You put that tail back. Now I'm gonna enter subcuticular, but I'm gonna aim toward the root of this tail. And we're gonna go down, so it's not subcuticular on the exit, it's subcutaneous on the exit. And that gives this room to pull the knot down into toward the linea. Look there, see how it disappeared? 1, 2, 3, 4 square knots. And then we're gonna cut it short. And if it doesn't disappear on its own, you just give it a little lift. And the linea alba is pulling that knot deep into the abdomen, into the subcutaneous tissue there. So that and a little bit of glue and she's done.